Maya, the defense attorneys were not only more aggressive during witness testimony today, they also called out an error in one of the state's exhibits. The board did meet in a closed session to decide on the investigation, but the meeting began with public comment, of which there was plenty. The Traverse City Community Meal Program started as the dream of one determined and charitable resident. 34 years later, dozens of volunteers are on hand to carry on that legacy, helping those in need. Maya, I'm at the 1966 Kirtland campus, about 15 minutes east of Roscommon. Since 2016, most classes have taken place at the new site in Grayling. Maya, I'm at the Meadowlands neighborhood outside of Alanson, and I just want to point out, last time I was here in June, there were fewer houses here. That's how productive Habitat for Humanity have been this summer. Several districts were planning to have school on Martin Luther King Day, but when Alanson's superintendent heard back from her transportation director, she found out the weekend storm was not truly over. In the 5, I said it was a Mercedes. I was wrong. I apologize. This is an 1886 Benz. At 7 o'clock, they're going to roll this thing down Market Street on its own power, mind you. Behind me, one of Michigan's grandest Independence Day parties is taking shape. People have been crowding the Torch Lake Sandbar since last week, and law enforcement agencies are out here ensuring that partygoers stay safe. And I'm at the driver's seat of the Grounded G2, which Grounded's CEO says is the first ever 250-mile electric RV. I'm here in Alanson, where MDOT says the road project has been in phase 2 since Memorial Day. The court was on the record for just 40 minutes this morning. After receiving their final instructions, deliberations began at 9:45 for the jury to consider the past 15 days of testimony and argument. Live in Petoskey, live in Antrim County, live in Roscommon County, live in Petoskey and loving it in the rain, Daniel Zivian. Daniel Zivian. That's Z as in zebra, I, V as in Victor, I-A-N. Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News. Everyone with me, 1, 2, 3, dispense with the horse. Live on Mackinac Island, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.
Thank you, Daniel. A lot of people joining him for that.
I'm at Tequamanen Falls. Nowadays, to get here, you only need a car and some good hiking boots. But back in the 1920s, you needed to get on a trolley, and then you needed to get on a riverboat miles upstream. Well, almost 100 years later, both the trolley and the riverboat are still running, but if no one steps up by the end of October, they'll be shuttered for good.
Starting at the edge of the Upper Tequamanen Falls.
Chris Stewart's steady delivery of Upper Michigan wisdom is as essential to the trip as the falls. His wife, Dixie, knows the speeches by heart.
This started the Great Chicago Fire of 1871.
Together, they own the Tequamanen Falls Riverboat Tours and the land to go with it. But after 42 seasons, the couple hopes to hear a different voice on the mic.
We're getting up in age, and the physical requirements of this job are becoming a little bit much for us. And so we're ready to move into retirement. So we're looking to sell the business to some energetic young people who would like to keep this going. If we haven't found a buyer by the time we close in October, we're going to make plans just to close the doors.
For now, the Stewarts work as hard as they ever have. Dixie still greets customers at the gift shop, then minds the register on the boat's cafe. Chris says he leads by example with his technical knowledge, but it takes a toll.
2 years ago, I worked 114 straight days in a row, and yeah, I had some health problems. And I swore I would never do that again. Well, here I am this year. I've had 1 day off in the last 27 days.
That includes maintaining the Toonerville Trolley, which Chris says is America's longest 2-foot gauge railroad, starting at Sioux Junction off M28.
There's 10,000 railroad ties out there. That's 44,000 spikes we have to maintain.
Then there's the Hiawatha, built in 1963 as the company's 4th riverboat. Without a buyer who can commit to these living relics, the history might be scrapped for parts. That's not to mention the small but loyal staff who help run everything 6 days a week.
Some of them are going to be needing some jobs for sure. Some of them are getting old enough that they can somewhat retire, semi-retire. But I think pretty much everybody would stay should we get a new owner, at least for a while.
And of course, the customers, regulars and first-timers from around the globe who know that like any road trip, it's about the journey.
And I know there's somebody else, some couple, some family, some individuals that want to go together on it. Somewhere out there, there's somebody that would like to do this.
In Luce County, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News. They line up 20 feet apart. You must be able to see your buddy on the left and right. The radio sounds, and off they go. These volunteers have put their regular lives on hold for 5 days, looking for David Moffett in rural Emmett County.
And we just pray that he is within reach, Lord.
Many of them David's fellow churchgoers in Petoskey.
Me and a couple friends just searched up and down roads. We also went to Cross Village and knocked on a few doors, let them know that he was missing, if they had seen anything.
For Land Search Director Kenneth Cito, this is one of the biggest, most complex operations he's worked.
We use dog tracking collars that we put on our team members, and we can follow them on a computer system so we can see where they're searching, where they miss.
And with the rough terrain and the heat, daunting for everyone involved.
You really got to watch for dehydration. You really got to care about your teams that are out there, including the civilians that you're working with. And, you know, everybody wants to search, but there comes a point where they got to say, okay, I can't do it. I want to do it more, but I got to step out. I'm wore out.
But the prevailing mood of the day is that of hope, optimism, and motivation, especially for David's son, Nathan, who personally thanked the many volunteers.
I just have the mindset of he could be around any corner, he could be in any valley, at any moment we could just see him. I know that the odds are, of course, highly in our favor. We're going to find him, it's just a matter of time, so we're all really eager and passionate and diligent, and I'm highly motivated to stay out here.
And the search goes on. In Emmett County, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.
Find a place to park, get out of your car, walk.
Here you will find buried hundreds of veterans dating back to the Civil War.
Look at the headstones, listen to the birds.
Retired Grand Traverse County Deputy Scott Schwander spends much of his time restoring the graves. While making his rounds, Schwander happened upon a headstone he hadn't seen before, barely visible, hidden beneath a bush.
So it had sunk and it was slightly above ground and it was very dirty, almost matching the color of the soil. So it was easy to miss, but once the branch came out, the bush came out, that was motivation to get it going.
It was a memorial to Coast Guard Chief Machinist Cecil Canfield, lost at sea with 120 others in 1942, sunk by a German U-boat.
I knew that day that we had found something absolutely remarkable.
Schwander brought his find to Air Station Traverse City, who accepted the mission. On the October Mid-Michigan Honor Flight, one officer brought Canfield's picture to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C.
I can't be any more grateful and humbled at the opportunity to be here. Just to witness and be a part of saying thank you to those that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Back home, a graveside ceremony brought together Coast Guard personnel, Canfield's family, and dozens of community members to reflect on his service and ensure his memory.
Gets to live on, and he's not forgotten, and that's the importance about maintaining these headstones, because when you look around, every headstone is a tangible object that contributes to a real person, and they all gave something in life.
In Traverse City, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.